Hey, what's going on guys? Jolts here, back with another video, and we just got the patch notes for today. So the patch should be live by 12 PM Pacific for everybody, and this one is a pretty big one. First off, they are adding Guardian Takedown as a permanent event for the game. So Malawan Takedown's not going anywhere, and we will now have 2 takedowns. Next up, Fight for Your Life has been improved. So when a player's down and you try to revive them, they will actually be slowed down. And the reason for this is so they don't crawl away and make it hard for you to revive them. Also, the visual effects for Fight for Your Life will be way more noticeable. So when a friend goes down, you will not see a small little revive text in the corner. It should be way more visible now. On top of that, multiple players can revive the same person. By doing this will speed up the revive process. That's a pretty good change. Alright, here's a major one. Added support to show Mayhem levels on item cards. So yeah, now when you kill a boss, you will see what level the item actually is. Now, there is a lot of smaller fixes and changes on the list, so I won't be reading everything off. So just know for stability there was a lot of fixes for crashing on the game, so the game should run a little bit smoother. Okay, on to optimizations. They improved the performance of navigating through vending machines, UI optimizations for console, improved inventory performance, improved inventory, quick menu, main menu, item inspection, buddy widget, and model tutorial performance. They also improved memory by removing the unnecessary frames from the skill tree, improved performance for dragging and dropping items in your inventory, and co-op when you navigate your character you had frame drops, that has been fixed. During the Demon in the Dark Side mission you would have frame drops, that is also fixed. And finally, improved the HUD performance. Yeah, so this game should be running a lot smoother now. Alright, on to general fixes. Addressed a reported concern where the camera would tilt sideways when shooting a high fire rate weapon, and while strafing at the same time. Disabled all controller inputs when the game window is not focused on the PC. Disabled access to quick menu when players are in vehicles or turrets. At the Meridian Metroplex, the Outrunner could be launched into the air. That has been fixed. At Conrad's Hold, bodies of dead enemies could be stretched out. That is also fixed. Addressed a reported concern where the host player could escape the map when crouching in the doorway of a client's room when they leave their session. Addressed a reported concern that hitting an out-of-bounds area with a vehicle would trigger Fight for Your Life. When buying ammo from a vendor, it'll be based on your level instead of the level of the items in the vendor. That is a nice change. Addressed a reported concern that pinstripes and filigree were sometimes missing from the player skins. Alright, for this one, I'm not 100% sure, but this could be a nerf or a buff. And that is, addressed a reported concern that the Anointment for 300% damage above 90% didn't work properly on non-flesh enemy types. So, is it giving us more damage or less damage? I don't know. That needs some testing. Addressed a reported concern where Guardian rank perks would only be considered active during the session you unlock them. If you're playing off host, you would sometimes have elemental puddles, and they would not go away. That should not be fixed. They updated the credits, added previous hotfixes to the game, and fixed the hint bar from glitching out in the skill tree menu. Alright, on to Borderlands Science. If you don't know, this is a minigame you can play in Sanctuary at Tannis' lab. But yeah, they added a 10-second cooldown for how fast you can skip puzzles. Also, when joining a friend, you will not lose your minigame booster buff. As for character fixes, there was only one. On Zane, sometimes activating your action skill will cancel your anoints. I never knew about that, but apparently it was a thing. If you're a streamer, there was some fixes for the EchoCast. So for the Moxtail event, they did add an in-world marker, so it should be a little bit easier to navigate to them. Sometimes when you join a friend, you will lose your Moxtail buff, but that has been fixed. And finally for the EchoCast, they did fix the Rare Chest event. So now it should display the correct number of winners. On to fixes for the game effects. There was an odd Steam effect in Sanctuary that would not go away, but that has not been fixed. Alright, on to the major one. Mayhem 2.0 is getting fixed. As you know right now for endgame, we're kind of stuck with the same weapons, the scaling's off, and it's not really all that enjoyable. They have addressed quite a few of the problems. Mayhem levels 7, 8, 9, and 10 are now being rebalanced. So for the old Mayhem 10, we had 12,500% armor, health, and shield for all enemies. That is now being brought back to 10,000%. Yeah, that is a really good change. As for Mayhem 7, 8, 9, I don't have the exact values, but just know it got brought back too. Apparently for Mayhem mode, off-host players could change your modifiers. That is no longer a thing, so only the host can change it. Here's another really good one. Agonizer, Kraken, Wotan, and Aista will now drop correct Mayhem level gear. So yeah, before if you're playing on Mayhem 10 and kill Aista, he would drop Mayhem 0 stuff. Now he should be dropping Mayhem 10 stuff. Guys, I am super excited for this because I can finally get my Mayhem 10 Skull Masher. I cannot wait. Now, some other sources don't drop Mayhem level gear, but those are going to be in the next patch in 2 weeks. Alright, onto the Mayhem modifiers. Chain Gang and Mob Mentality cannot be rolled together anymore. Yeah, I guess it was causing frame rate issues, so they wanted to reduce that. Also, the Floor's Lava modifier fires off less frequently, and there was a bug where it would not go away immediately after combat was done. That should not be fixed. As for the Chain Gang modifier, the further you are away from the enemy, the more it will dissipate. From long range, you shouldn't see all the visual effects, and that will heavily improve the game performance. It is also mentioned here the Buddy System and Drone Ranger modifiers are still being looked at. Alright, continuing on here, Moses Auto Bear or Daka Bear skill can now damage death. So if you're using the Post-Mortem modifier, you can do damage. Addressed a reported concern where the player could briefly be put in a fight for your life when the Mayhem modifier Roguelite is active. So what they mean by that is you can no longer get a second win with that modifier. The Loot Explosion Mayhem modifier will now drop Mayhem leveled gear. Yeah, before it would always drop stuff at Mayhem 0 even if you're playing on Mayhem 10, but now it should match your Mayhem level. And there was quite a few other changes for Mayhem mode, most of them fixing performance and glitches with the modifiers. As for UI fixes, there was 8 of them. Now, I'm not going to read them all off, but just know they fixed some visuals for those. Alright, that's it for the patch notes, so let's move on to the hotfix notes. Now for the hotfix, you have to make sure you're playing online, and sit at the main menu for a few seconds. You should see a sign pop up behind your character saying hotfix is applied. Once you see that, you are good to go. Alright, the Revenge of the Cartel Anointments are now permanently in the game. That is awesome. Sadly though, the Cartel event is over for now, but we're still going to be able to farm our 300% damage, 150% rad, while action skill is active. All of those anoints from the Cartel event, they are here to stay. Awesome. Addressed a reported concern where the spikes from the Manticores and Korax would ignore Saint's Barrier. Now this is actually something that's kind of important. They rebalance the number of enemies that can spawn at once, and the health values of some of the enemies in the Guardian Takedown. So make sure your hotfixes are on for this fix. There's also a potential progression blocker in the Guardian Takedown, and that has been fixed with the hotfix too. And finally for Zane, the Sentinel would not target enemies. That has not been fixed. Up next, weapon buffs. Now, some of you guys might know I have never really cursed on this channel. Maybe in some of my really old videos, but for the most part, I keep it clean. So for the sake of this weapon, I'm gonna call it the Fatale. You guys know what weapon I'm talking about. But anyways, they increase the weapon damage on the Fatale. Awesome. Increase the weapon damage on the Handsome Jackhammer. Increase weapon damage on the Devoted. Increase weapon damage on the Cloud Kill. Increase weapon damage on the Tsunami. Increase weapon damage on the 10 Gallon. Increase melee damage bonus on the Ripper. Increase weapon damage on the Vanquisher. And increase bonus damage while sliding on the Vanquisher too. So basically a bunch of SMGs got buffed. That is pretty awesome. Alright, on to the heartbreaking stuff. There was a few nerfs, and this was to be expected when they toned back, the Mayhem levels. First up, the Sandhawk. Increased shot cost from 2 to 3. They've removed 2 of the projectiles, and the reasoning for that was worded as it was affecting the performance of the game. They increased the accuracy spread, and to balance all this out, they did buff it in a few ways too. They lowered the lifetime of projectiles. So before, when you shot the Sandhawk, the projectiles would disappear after a set distance. Now they should travel a lot further. Also, they increased the projectile speed too. Now, because of this, the Sandhawk can work at longer ranges, just like a sniper should do. Okay, we all saw this coming, but the Yellow Cake was affected too. Before, this thing would literally one-shot everything. Like, I was actually playing Moes with no skill tree on Mayhem 10, and I was still one-shotting things. So, the reason why the damage was so crazy was because of a bug in the code. That has not been fixed. Also, the split projectile damage is decreased too. Now, I'm kinda glad it wasn't hit harder because remember what they did with the Ion Cannon? They kept the crazy damage but gave it a lot of ammo consumption. The Yellow Cake still remains as ammo efficient, and still sounds like it's gonna be a pretty good launcher. For the final nerf, we have the Chaosin. The accuracy was reduced, critical damage reduced, and base damage reduced. Now, they didn't say how much, so I am curious about how much it was affected. And finally, Anointment buffs. They buffed the airborne annoyance. They increased the airborne damage, crit damage, and fire rate. The wall sliding fire rate annoyance did get a buff too. Action skill and annoyance got a buff. That goes for the fire rate one, next to max bonus damage one, and the splash damage one. Yeah, the splash damage one was already so good, but now it's going to be even better. For the most players, the Auto Bear active incendiary damage got a buff too. Yeah guys, that's going to be it for all the notes. And again, the nerfs might not be as bad as we expect. They did bring back the scaling for Mayhem 7, 8, 9, and 10, so this could be simple rebalancing. Anyways, be sure to comment below what your favorite changes are. For me, it's definitely the buffs and toning back Mayhem 10. I am super happy about those. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and of course if you did, then please be sure to leave a like because that would be awesome. And if you guys really enjoyed it, be sure to sub. You guys have a great day, and I will see you all later. Peace out.